The glass of whiskey sits untouched on my desk, amber liquid catching the late afternoon sun filtering through my office windows. I've been staring at it for 20 minutes now, remembering another glass, another office, another version of myself who still believed in things like loyalty and brotherhood. That man is dead. I killed him. The same day Ryan killed our friendship. We met in college, University of Michigan, freshman year, randomly assigned roommates in a dorm that smelled like stale beer and broken dreams. I walked in to find him already unpacked, organizing his books by color on the shelf, wearing a vintage Nirvana t-shirt and looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "I'm Ryan," he said, not looking up from his alphabetizing. "I don't snore, I don't party on weekdays, and I use headphones. We'll get along fine if you do the same." "Nathan," I replied, dumping my boxes on the narrow bed. "I snore like a freight train party whenever the mood strikes, and I prefer speakers. We're going to have an interesting year." He finally looked at me, sized me up, and then, surprisingly, he smiled. "You're full of shit," he said. "Completely," I admitted. That was the beginning. Ryan was brilliant in the way that makes professors uncomfortable. He didn't just understand concepts, he deconstructed them, found their flaws, built better versions in his head while the rest of us were still taking notes. Economics, game theory, behavioral psychology, he consumed knowledge like oxygen. I was different. I saw patterns where others saw chaos, could look at market data or social trends, and intuit connections that wouldn't be obvious for months. My professors called it instinct. Ryan called it my voodoo bullshit superpower. We complemented each other perfectly. His analytical precision and my intuitive leaps, his discipline and my creativity, his execution and my vision. By sophomore year, we were inseparable, studying together, eating together, finishing each other's sentences in that way that made other people uncomfortable. We weren't gay, both dated, both had relationships. We were just complete. Two halves of something that worked better together than apart. "Brothers from different mothers," Ryan would say, usually drunk, usually sincere. "You and me against the world, Nate. Always." I believed him. God, I believed him. Senior year, we started our first business. Nothing fancy, just a service connecting students with local businesses for part-time work. We called it Link Up, built the platform in Ryan's bedroom, funded by credit cards and ramen-based meal planning. It caught on faster than we expected. Within 6 months, we had 3,000 users. Within a year, 12,000. By graduation, we were processing $50,000 in monthly transactions. We incorporated, made it official. 50-50 partners equal everything. Signed the papers in my parents' kitchen while my mom made us celebratory pancakes and cried about how proud she was. "To us," Ryan said, raising a glass of orange juice, "and to never forgetting where we started." "To brotherhood," I replied. We were 22 years old. We were invincible. We were idiots. The next 5 years were a blur of growth and struggle and small victories that felt like everything. We moved to Chicago, rented a shithole apartment in Logan Square where the heat barely worked, and the neighbors dealt drugs, but we didn't care because we were building something. Link Up evolved. We pivoted from student jobs to gig economy work before gig economy was even a term, connected people with short-term opportunities, built algorithms that matched skills to needs, created something genuinely useful. The money came slowly, then quickly. First client, first 100 clients, first 1,000. Revenue grew from nothing to 6 figures to 7 figures. We stayed lean, reinvested everything, slept 4 hours a night and thought it was normal. Ryan handled operations and finance. I handled product and growth. We made every major decision together. Argued constantly but always came to consensus. We were partners, real partners, the kind of partnership that felt sacred. I introduced him to my family. He introduced me to his. We spent holidays together, knew each other's passwords, secrets, fears. He was there when my dad died, spoke at the funeral, held me up when I couldn't stand. "I got you," he said. Always. I never doubted it. Melissa walked into our office on a Tuesday in March, and I felt the air change. She was interviewing for a marketing director position, 29 years old, MBA from Northwestern, previously worked for 2 successful startups. On paper, she was exactly what we needed. In person, she was stunning. Not in an obvious way. No model features or calculated beauty. Just this presence. Intelligence radiating from dark eyes. Confidence in the way she moved. A smile that felt like she was letting you in on a private joke. The interview lasted 2 hours. She asked questions that showed she'd done deep research on our company, offered insights that were immediately valuable, challenged our assumptions in ways that made me excited to work with her. We hired her on the spot. "She's incredible," I told Ryan after she left. "Exactly what we need." "Agreed," he said. "Smart hire." What I didn't tell him was that I'd felt something else during that interview. Something I hadn't felt in years. Not just professional admiration, interest, attraction, hope. Melissa started 2 weeks later. She was everything we'd hoped for professionally. Strategic, creative, relentless. Our marketing went from amateur to world-class in 3 months. But she was also kind, funny, easy to talk to. She'd stay late helping me work through product decisions. We'd grab coffee in the mornings and talk about everything from business strategy to philosophy to terrible movies we secretly loved. I was falling for her. Ryan noticed. Of course, he did. He knew me too well. "You should ask her out," he said, one night after she'd left the office. We were alone, cleaning up after a team meeting. "What? No, she works for us. It would be inappropriate." "She works with us. There's a difference. And I've seen how she looks at you, man. There's something there." "You think?" "I know. Trust me. Ask her out. Life's too short to wonder what if." So I did. Our first date was at a tiny Thai restaurant in Wicker Park. We talked for 5 hours about her childhood in Denver, about my dreams for the company, about the gap between who we are and who we want to become. She told me about her ex-fiancé who'd left her a week before the wedding, about the humiliation and pain and how she'd rebuilt herself from that. I told her about building Link Up with Ryan, about the brotherhood, about how rare it was to find someone you could trust completely in business and life. "You're lucky," she said. "Most people never find that kind of partnership." "I know," I said. "It's the most important relationship in my life. Besides you, maybe." She smiled, reached across the table, took my hand. "We barely know each other." "I know, but I think we could." "Know each other, I mean. Really know each other." "I think so too," she said. We kissed in the parking lot, soft and tentative and perfect. I drove home feeling like my life had finally aligned. The company was thriving. My best friend was my partner. And now there was Melissa. Everything was perfect. We dated for 8 months. Kept it quiet at first. No need to make the team uncomfortable with office romance drama. But eventually it became obvious. The way we looked at each other, the inside jokes, the chemistry that couldn't be hidden. Ryan was happy for us, truly happy. He'd joke about being the third wheel, about how Melissa was good for me, about how I seemed lighter, happier, more balanced. "You deserve this, Nate," he told me one night over beers. "You've given everything to the company. It's good to see you finally taking something for yourself." "Thanks, man. That means a lot." I'm serious. She's great. Don't fuck it up. I won't. Good. Because if you do, I'll have to fire both of you, and that would be extremely inconvenient. We laughed, clinked bottles. Brothers celebrating a brother's happiness. I had no idea he was already sleeping with her. The cracks started appearing around month 9 of my relationship with Melissa. Small things. She'd cancel plans last minute, claiming work emergencies. She'd be distant, distracted. Her phone was suddenly password protected when it had been opened before. I told myself I was being paranoid, insecure, damaged by watching too many friends go through breakups. But my instinct, my voodoo bullshit superpower, was screaming that something was wrong. I noticed other things too. Ryan taking more meetings without me, making decisions and informing me after the fact, rather than discussing beforehand. A new lawyer I'd never met reviewing our corporate documents. "What's going on?" I asked him one afternoon. "You've been weird lately?" "Weird how?" "Secretive, distant. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Nate. Just stressed. The new funding round is complicated." "What new funding round?" He blinked, realized he'd said something he shouldn't have. "Nothing concrete yet, just exploratory conversations. I didn't want to mention it until there was something real to discuss." "We're partners. You're supposed to mention everything." "You're right. Sorry, I'll keep you in the loop." But he didn't. I found out the truth by accident. I came back to the office late one night. I'd forgotten my laptop and needed it for an early morning meeting. The building was dark, empty, or so I thought. I heard them before I saw them. Voices from Ryan's office, low, intimate. I should have left, should have given them privacy. But something made me stop, made me listen. "Can't keep doing this," Melissa was saying. "It's not fair to him." "I know," Ryan's voice. "But if we tell him now, it'll destroy everything. The company, the partnership, all of it." "So what's the alternative?" "Keep lying, keep sneaking around. I can't do this much longer, Ryan. The guilt is killing me." "Just a few more months. Once the funding closes and the restructuring is complete, we can tell him. We can make a clean break." "And you really think he'll just accept that? Accept us? After everything?" "He'll have to. He won't have a choice." My blood went cold. The floor beneath me felt unstable. "What do you mean he won't have a choice?" Ryan laughed. It was a sound I'd never heard from him before. Cold, calculating. "The new corporate structure gives me operational control. 51% voting rights. He'll still own 49% of the company. But I'll make the decisions, including whether to keep him on as co-founder or transition him out." Jesus, Ryan, that's business. Look, I care about Nate. He's my best friend, but he's also holding us back. He's too idealistic, too soft. The company needs ruthless leadership if we're going to scale, and frankly, so do I. So do you. Silence. Then Melissa's voice, quieter. When did you become like this?" "Like what?" "Like someone who'd betray his best friend, like someone who'd planned this for months without a shred of guilt." "I'm not betraying him. I'm protecting the company, and yes, protecting us. What we have is real, Mel. Don't pretend it's not. It is real. But it's also built on lies. All relationships are built on lies, convenient omissions, strategic truths. We're just being honest about it." More silence. Then the sound of movement. Kissing. I left. Walked out of that building and into the cold Chicago night and just walked for hours, until my feet ached and my mind was numb. I didn't confront them immediately, didn't have screaming matches or dramatic revelations. I went home, sat in the dark, and planned, because here's what I understood in that moment. Ryan had been playing a long game. The secret meetings, the new lawyer, the restructuring. He'd been positioning himself for months, to take control of the company we'd built together. And Melissa? She'd been the distraction, the way to keep me happy and occupied while Ryan dismantled our partnership from the inside. I'd been played, completely, thoroughly, by the two people I trusted most. I spent the next week quietly gathering information. I accessed our corporate documents, reviewed every change Ryan had made to our operating agreement over the past year, tracked the investor conversations he'd been having without me. The picture that emerged was devastating. Ryan had been systematically diluting my control. Not my equity, that would have been too obvious, but my voting rights, decision-making authority, board composition. Each change individually seemed reasonable. Together, they formed a cage. By the time the new funding round closed, I'd be a minority partner in my own company. Ryan would have operational control, and I'd be powerless to stop whatever came next. He'd been planning this for over a year, while calling me brother, while encouraging me to date Melissa, while pretending nothing had changed. I called a meeting, just the three of us, told them I needed to discuss something important about the company's future. They arrived separately. Melissa looked nervous. Ryan looked confident. I'd set up the conference room carefully, laptop connected to the projector, documents printed and organized, coffee waiting. "Thanks for coming," I said calmly. "I wanted to discuss some concerns I have about our corporate structure." Ryan tensed. "What concerns?" I pulled up the first slide, a comparison of our original operating agreement versus the current one. I've been reviewing the changes we've made over the past year, and I've noticed some interesting patterns. Nate, my voting rights have decreased from 50% to 38%. Your voting rights have increased from 50% to 51%. The remaining 11% is held by new investors you brought in without my input, who are contractually obligated to vote with you on major decisions. Melissa was staring at the table. Ryan's face was impassive. "This was all properly documented," he said. "You approved every change." "I did because I trusted you, because I thought we were partners, because I'm apparently a fucking idiot." "You're not an idiot. The company needed capital. Investors wanted governance provisions. These are standard." "Don't!" My voice was sharp, hard. "Don't insult me by pretending this was standard. You engineered a takeover of your own partner, your own best friend." Melissa finally looked up. "Nathan?" "How long?" I asked her. "How long have you been fucking him?" She flinched. 5 months. 5 months. 5 months of lies while I thought we were building a future together. Did you ever actually care about me? Or was I just the convenient mark while you two planned this? I did care. Her voice was small. I do care. Things got complicated. Things got complicated, I repeated. That's your explanation for betraying someone who loved you? I didn't mean to hurt you. Nobody ever does, but you did it anyway, both of you. Ryan stood up. "Look, this conversation is pointless. You're hurt. I get it. But the business reality is what it is. You can fight this if you want. Get lawyers, drag it out, make it ugly, or you can accept it, take your minority stake, and we all move forward." "Move forward? You think I'm going to keep working with you after this?" "You don't have a choice. You're contractually bound to non-compete agreements. You can't leave and start something similar. You either stay here in a reduced role, or you walk away with nothing." He'd thought of everything, every angle, every contingency. "You really did plan this?" "Perfectly," I said. "How long? How long have you been working on this?" "Does it matter?" "Yes." He shrugged. "About 18 months, since we started getting serious investor interest. I realized we needed professional leadership, that the company had outgrown the founder dynamic, that tough decisions had to be made. Tough decisions like betraying your best friend, like protecting the company from sentimental attachments that could limit growth. I looked at him, really looked at him, searching for any trace of the kid I'd met in that dorm room, the one who'd called me brother, the one who'd spoken at my father's funeral. He was gone, or maybe he'd never existed. "Okay," I said. They both looked surprised. "Okay," Ryan repeated. "I'm not fighting this. You win. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. I'm done." Relief flooded his face. That's mature of you, Nate, really. And you'll still be taken care of. Your equity is still worth millions. I don't care about the money. Then what do you care about? I stood up, gathered my things. I used to care about loyalty, about partnership, about building something meaningful with someone I trusted. But you taught me. Those things are fantasies. So thank you for that lesson. I walked out of the office I'd helped build, out of the company I'd bled for, and I didn't look back. The next 6 months were dark. Not the dramatic darkness of movies, but the quiet kind that erodes you slowly. I signed the papers, accepted the minority stake, walked away from active involvement in LinkUp. I stopped seeing mutual friends, deleted social media, became invisible. Melissa tried reaching out a few times, apologetic texts, requests to talk. I blocked her number. Ryan sent one email. "I hope we can eventually move past this. You're still my brother, Nate. That hasn't changed." I deleted it without responding. The breaking point came when I saw them. 6 months after everything collapsed, I was in Lincoln Park trying to force myself to rejoin the world. And there they were, Ryan and Melissa, walking hand in hand, laughing, looking happy. They didn't see me. I was just another face in the crowd, invisible, irrelevant, already forgotten. And something inside me shifted. The grief crystallized into something else, something cold and focused and absolutely certain. If they could move on so easily, build their happiness on the ruins of my trust, then I was done being the victim, done being the good guy who walked away with quiet dignity. I was going to destroy them, not quickly, not obviously, but completely. I started by becoming someone new, not Nathan Pierce, failed founder and betrayed friend. That person was weak. That person had trusted and lost. I became Nate Chen, different last name, different style, different approach to everything. I took the money from my minority stake, about $3 million after taxes, and invested it carefully. Real estate, index funds, boring, stable growth. I also started consulting, using my pattern recognition skills to help companies identify opportunities and threats. I was good at it, better than I'd expected. Within a year, I had clients. Within 2 years, I had a reputation. Within 3 years, I had enough capital and connections to execute my plan. The plan required patience, research, understanding exactly how LinkUp worked and where its vulnerabilities were. I created false identities, infiltrated their market, studied their customers, competitors, suppliers, built detailed models of their business operations. I also studied Ryan and Melissa, their patterns, their relationships, their weaknesses. Ryan had become arrogant. Success had made him sloppy. He'd started believing his own press releases, started making assumptions about his invulnerability. Melissa had become his everything. Business partner, romantic partner, social partner. She'd moved into his apartment. They were engaged. Their lives were completely intertwined. That was exploitable. I also connected with LinkUp's enemies. Every company has them. Competitors they'd crushed, employees they'd fired, partners they'd screwed. I became a collector of grievances, a curator of resentment, and slowly I built a network of people who wanted to see Ryan fail, but lacked the means to make it happen. I would be those means. My opportunity came in year 4. One of my consulting clients was building a competitor to LinkUp. They had better technology but lacked market access. I offered to help, not just as a consultant, but as an equity partner and strategic advisor. "You understand this space better than anyone," the CEO said. "What's your advantage?" I helped build LinkUp's original product. I know exactly how it works and where the weaknesses are. Isn't that a conflict of interest? I'm a minority shareholder, but I haven't been operationally involved in years, no legal barriers, and frankly, I'm motivated to see competition succeed. Why? I smiled. Let's just say I have philosophical differences with current leadership. We shook hands. I invested $2 million, took 15% equity, and got full operational control of go-to-market strategy. We launched 6 months later. The product was better than LinkUp's, faster, more intuitive, better economics for both workers and employers. We targeted LinkUp's most valuable customers, offered better terms, superior service. And we had something else, me. I knew exactly how Ryan thought, how he'd respond to threats, what he'd defend and what he'd sacrifice. I used that knowledge ruthlessly. When LinkUp dropped prices, we dropped faster. When they improved features, we'd already shipped better ones. When they signed exclusive contracts, we found the loopholes. Within 8 months, we captured 7% market share. Within a year, 15%. Within 18 months, 24%. LinkUp was bleeding customers, bleeding revenue, bleeding investor confidence. And I was just getting started. I also went after their investors, quietly planted seeds of doubt, questions about leadership, about strategic direction, about whether Ryan had the skills to compete in an evolving market. Nothing defamatory, just strategic truths delivered to receptive audiences. The board started asking harder questions, demanding more accountability, restricting Ryan's autonomy. He was suffocating just like he'd made me suffocate. Then I went after Melissa. Not directly, I'm not a monster. But I made sure Ryan's stress bled into their relationship. I knew him, knew how he handled pressure. He'd become controlling, paranoid, difficult. I'd heard through my network that they were fighting, that the engagement was rocky, that Melissa was questioning everything. Good. The final move came in year 5. LinkUp's next funding round was critical. Without it, they'd run out of cash in 8 months. I made sure every major VC firm knew about the competitive threat, about LinkUp's declining metrics, about the structural problems in their business model, and then I did something that would have been impossible for the old Nathan. I approached LinkUp's lead investor, offered to buy them out at a discount. "Why would we sell?" the partner asked. "Because your investment is worth less every quarter, because Ryan has lost control of the market, because I can offer you a guaranteed return now versus a probable loss later." "And what would you do if we sold?" "Merge it with my company, keep the good parts, fire the bad leadership, build something sustainable." He studied me. "This is personal, isn't it? It's business." "No, it's personal. Ryan Pierce was your partner, your friend. This is revenge." I didn't deny it. "Does that change the economics?" He thought about it. "No, I suppose it doesn't." We closed the deal 3 weeks later. $12 million for their stake plus 2 board seats. Combined with some smaller investors I'd courted, I now controlled 43% of LinkUp. Ryan controlled 34%. The remaining 23% was held by various small investors who'd vote with whoever made the better case. For the first time in 5 years, Ryan wasn't in control. I called a board meeting, my first time back in LinkUp's office since the day I'd walked out. The space had changed, bigger, fancier, more corporate. But the bones were the same, the company I'd helped birth. Ryan was already there when I arrived. He'd aged badly, stress and pressure carving lines into his face. His hair was thinner, his eyes harder. He saw me and went white. "Nathan?" "Ryan!" Melissa entered behind him. She looked shocked, scared. "What is this?" Ryan demanded. "What are you doing here?" "I'm on the board," I said calmly. "Didn't anyone tell you I acquired significant equity over the past few months, enough to earn a seat?" You can't." "I can. I did. And now we need to talk about the company's future." "Why?" Meeting was brutal. I laid out LinkUp's problems methodically: declining market share, rising customer acquisition costs, unsustainable burn rate, poor strategic decisions. "The company is failing," I said flatly. "Not failed yet, but failing. And the question is whether current leadership is capable of turning it around." "This is bullshit," Ryan said. You're sabotaging us. You built a competitor. You stole our customers." "I build a better product. That's called competition. If LinkUp can't compete, maybe the problem isn't me." The other board members were silent, watching, calculating. "I propose a leadership change," I continued. "Ryan steps down as CEO, professional management comes in. We explore a merger with my company, provisional name Talent Bridge, to create a stronger combined entity." "You want to steal my company?" "I want to save it. There's a difference." This was yours all along." Ryan stood up, shaking. "This whole thing, building the competitor, acquiring board seats, everything. You've been planning this for years." "Yes," I said simply. "Just like you planned to push me out. Difference is I'm better at it." The vote happened 2 weeks later. 4 board members. We needed 3 for majority. Ryan voted no, obviously. I voted yes, obviously. The other 2 voted yes. Ryan was out. I'll never forget the look on his face. The moment he realized he'd lost everything. The company, the control, the empire he'd built on my betrayal. "You destroyed me," he said quietly. We were alone in the office after the board meeting, after everyone else had left. "No," I replied. "I beat you. There's a difference. You're still alive, still wealthy, still have Melissa. I just took the thing you valued most, the same thing you took from me. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I thought I was doing what was best for the company. And I think I'm doing what's best for the company now." Funny how that works. What happens now? You take your payout, you take leave, you disappear, just like I did 5 years ago. And us, our friendship? I looked at him, felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no grief, just emptiness. "There is no us," I said. "There hasn't been for a long time. You killed that the day you decided your ambition mattered more than your promises." Ryan left LinkUp the next month, took a settlement worth $8 million, moved to Austin with Melissa. I heard later they broke up 6 months after the move. The pressure had been too much. They'd blamed each other for everything that went wrong. Funny how betrayal poisons everything it touches. I merged LinkUp with Talent Bridge, kept the best people from both companies, built something genuinely great. The combined entity was valued at $280 million within 2 years. I owned 42%. I was worth over $100 million. I'd won completely, definitively. And I felt absolutely nothing. Success is supposed to taste sweet. Revenge is supposed to feel satisfying. Victory is supposed to mean something. But I sit here in my corner office, looking out at the Chicago skyline, and I feel empty. I destroyed Ryan, took everything he'd taken from me, proved I was smarter, more strategic, more ruthless. And in doing so, I destroyed myself. The person I became to get revenge, cold, calculating, capable of years-long deception, that's who I am now. I can't turn it off. Can't go back to being the kid who believed in loyalty and partnership. I have money, status, power, respect. I have nothing. I push people away because I can't trust them, can't be vulnerable, can't let anyone close enough to matter. I date sometimes beautiful women, successful women, women who should be exciting and interesting and enough. But I feel nothing. Everything is performance, strategy, positioning. I've forgotten how to be genuine. Last week I got a message on LinkedIn from Ryan, just 3 words. You were right. I stared at it for hours, trying to understand what he meant. Right about what? The betrayal? The revenge? The emptiness? I haven't responded, don't know if I will, because here's the truth I've learned. Revenge doesn't heal you. It transforms you, turns you into the thing you hated. I wanted to hurt Ryan the way he hurt me, and I succeeded, completely. But in doing so, I became exactly what I despised. Someone who uses people, who calculates relationships like business transactions, who values winning over everything else. I proved I was better than Ryan at the game he started, but I lost myself in the playing. There's a photo I keep hidden in my desk from college. Ryan and me at graduation, arms around each other, smiling like we had the world figured out. We looked so young, so naive, so certain that loyalty and friendship were real things that mattered. I look at that photo sometimes and wonder what those kids would think of who we became. 2 men who destroyed each other over ego and ambition and a company neither of us needed. I'm 39 years old. I have more money than I'll ever spend. I run a successful company. I'm respected in my industry. I'm completely alone. No real friends, no partner, no one who actually knows me. Because I can't let anyone know me. Can't let anyone see the emptiness inside. People at work think I'm successful, happy, living the dream. They don't see the nights I sit alone in my apartment, staring at walls, wondering if any of it was worth it. They don't see the way I flinch when someone calls me a friend. They don't see the part of me that died the day I chose revenge over healing. I could have walked away, could have built something new, could have proven myself without needing to destroy Ryan, but I chose revenge. And revenge is a poison you drink yourself. Sometimes I wonder if Ryan feels the same emptiness, if he sits in Austin or wherever he ended up, looking at his life and wondering if the betrayal was worth what it cost him. Probably not. Ryan was always better at justifying his choices, at believing his own narratives, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just as broken as I am, just better at hiding it. The worst part isn't the loneliness. It's the knowledge that I did this to myself, that every step of the 5-year plan was a choice that I could have stopped at any point and didn't. I wanted revenge more than I wanted peace, more than I wanted to be whole, and I got it, and it's killing me. There's no satisfying ending here. No redemption arc. No moment where I learn to forgive and move forward. I'm stuck, frozen in the moment of victory that feels like defeat. Rich and successful and completely destroyed. I think about reaching out to Ryan sometimes, not to reconcile, not to forgive, just to acknowledge that we both lost, that there were no winners in our war, just 2 casualties who happened to survive. But I don't, because what would be the point? We can't undo what we did to each other, can't restore what we destroyed. Some breaks are permanent. Some betrayals kill who you were and leave something else in your place. Tonight I'm going to pour that whiskey down the drain. Going to sit in the dark and think about the boy I used to be. Before betrayal. Before revenge. Before I learned that winning can feel like losing. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I'll find a way back to him. Or maybe I won't. Maybe this is just who I am now. Who we both are. 2 broken men living with the consequences of destroying each other. This is my story. My confession. My warning. To anyone who thinks revenge will heal them, it won't. To anyone who thinks destroying your enemy will make you whole, it won't. To anyone who thinks winning justifies becoming someone you hate, it doesn't. I beat Ryan, took everything he took from me and more, and I would give it all back, every dollar, every victory, every moment of satisfaction to undo what I became. But you can't unbecome something. You can't unfight wars. You can't return to innocence once you've learned to be ruthless. The city is dark now. The office is empty, except for me. The whiskey still sits untouched on my desk. I pick it up, hold it to the light, watch the amber liquid catch the streetlights below. And then I drink it. Because why not? Because nothing matters anymore. Because I won and lost simultaneously. And this is what victory tastes like. Bitter, empty, alone. That's the real ending. Not revenge, not confrontation, not resolution. Just this. Silence, emptiness, the hollow sound of winning when there's no one left to celebrate with. I destroyed Ryan, and he destroyed me. And we're both still here, living with what we did. That's the price of betrayal, of revenge, of letting the worst parts of yourself win. You mean survive, but you're not alive, not really. Just going through the motions in a life that stopped meaning anything the moment you chose revenge over redemption. I sit here now, successful, wealthy, broken, and I wonder if Ryan sits somewhere similar, if he feels the same emptiness, if he ever thinks about that dorm room where we met, about the promises we made, about the brothers we used to be. Probably not, but maybe we're both haunted by the same ghosts. The ghosts of who we could have been if we'd chosen differently, if we'd valued friendship over ambition, trust over control, brotherhood over victory, but we didn't. And now we're here. Wherever here is, this place of hollow success and permanent damage, in this place where winning and losing are the same thing, this place where revenge tastes like ash and victory feels like death. That's my story, that's my truth. That's the price I paid for destroying the person who destroyed me. Total, complete, irreversible. And if you're reading this, thinking about revenge, about payback, about destroying the person who hurt you, don't. Because winning isn't worth losing yourself. And revenge isn't worth becoming the thing you hate. Trust me, I know. I won and I lost everything that mattered.